You're listening to the Real Longevity Podcast, your number one podcast resource for living a longer life. Here we discuss topics on personal fitness, longevity, and real lasting elevation of mind, body, and spirit. Join us as we build a community of healthy men and women enjoying lasting levels of real health and vitality. If you're currently feeling frustrated with pain, flat, or fed up with aging faster than you actually are, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Longevity Podcast. Welcome to the Real Longevity family and get ready to live a life you truly love. Welcome back to the Real Longevity Podcast. I'm your host, practitioner, and coach, Mike Hendricks, and today we have another outstanding, informative, and elevating show for you. I'd like to welcome all first-time listeners to the podcast. Welcome, and be sure to stay to the end of the show where I'll be sharing my connection and community links where you can connect with me and the Real Longevity Podcast community. Blessed to have you here once again. So today's episode is one for me personally, which is very important, and because it's a topic that sits very much at the heart of what we do here, talking about the big picture and longevity here on the Real Longevity Podcast. And the real reason why any of this matters, because the reality is that we are getting older and time is passing by, and how can we best live our lives here on this physical planet as best we can? So today's episode is called Getting Older is Inevitable, but Feeling Old is Optional. Getting older is inevitable, but feeling old is optional. And I want you to stay with me with this for a moment, because for a lot of people, it's all about getting old, because there's a version of your future self that is vital, energized, free from chronic pain or nagging pain, and is generally happy in their body and doing the things they love. But there also is another version which people tend to tune into, who is very slowly and quietly accepting less and less, doing less of the things that they enjoy, less energy, less mobility, less enjoyment, because no one really ever explained to them that there is another option. They just buy into this concept of them of doing less. So today I'm here to tell you that's a different story, and it's absolutely possible to have a future you and a version of you that is enjoying energy, doing the things that they want to do, free from pain, still with a level of freedom and independence, even if you are getting older in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and even older. We've been talking about in the recent episodes about the concepts of the Real Rejuvenation program, and hopefully in this episode we kind of bring it all together. But we're talking about we don't have to get old or feel old. We get older, we age, but we don't have to feel old. Let's bring it all together and talk about longevity, real longevity, the kind that's measured not just in years, but in the quality and the fullness of those years. Now, there is a bit of an issue which we're going to start off talking about when it comes to our general attitude around aging and getting older. There is what I can only describe as a low expectancy epidemic when it comes to aging. Generally in our culture, we have this collective idea and we have this collective decision that we've made that typically as we get older, there's this steady decline in our physical and mental vitality. Our midlife onwards is just a state of decline and downward spiral. And it's because we've bought into this general concept, and because we expect it, we see everywhere and we interpret it as true. You've heard your friends talking, and so you buy into the concept, oh, this is what it's like at this age. So you think, yeah, it's probably true. This is what it's like at this age. I see in the conversations where people say, what do you expect at my age? Or things like, I just have to accept it now. This is normal. These are not just phrases. These are actually beliefs. If you're saying these things, these are things that you're actually buying into and you're believing. And we know, you don't have to ask me, there's lots of papers and studies out there now, that belief shapes our biology. They shape what we try, what we invest in, and what we think is possible for us. So if we're saying things, we're affirming things, and those things eventually will come to pass. And the tragedy is, so much of what people accept as inevitable aging is not primarily about chronological age at all. It's about lifestyle, making lifestyle choices, about decades of insufficient movement that people have chosen to make, decades of poor sleep, decades of poor stress or poor stress control, disconnection from what people really like to do, and connection and community. And obviously, talking about the big one, which is food choices and an environment that, if we're not doing those over a long period of time, they accumulate as poor health practices. Everything that I've just mentioned there is they're all modifiable. You can change them at any time and at any age. I personally have worked with people in their late 50s, 60s and transformed their life. And I've had personal experience from this as well, just making changes. We've seen a reduction in people's pain, reduction in their stress levels. We've seen an increase in their energy levels, increase in their strength, increase in their mobility. And they've rediscovered that sense of vitality. And that's not being done through any sort of extreme measures, not through any kind of suffering or no pain, no gain mentality. It's just through that, what I call CIA, consistent, intelligent approach. CIA, that consistent, intelligent approach. The holistic practice, which we talk about, what we talk about on the Core Build Accelerate System program and on the Real Rejuvenation program. And that's what we've been talking about over these recent episodes. It's all backed by science and what we can do when we apply these things to increase our health span, not just our lifespan. But the number of years that we live is all to do, or the quality of the number of years that we live is what we're talking about here, is about the health spans. Are you living 60, 70, 80 years with quality, vitality, energy? Or are you living 60, 70, 80 years battling, struggling, suffering, in pain? Ask yourself that question. Are your behaviors matching what you'd ideally like to see in your life? The pharmaceutical industry focus is all about developing interventions. But the reality is, the truth is, the most powerful longevity tools that we currently have available to us is not found in a lab, it's just our daily habits. We've talked about it before. How are you moving on a daily basis? What's your activity like? What are your stress levels like? What's your mental outlook and output like? How is your sleeping? What are you eating like? All these things, you don't need to find them in a tablet or a pill or a laboratory. These things are all what we call behavior changes. And if we make those behavior changes, we can stop that mentality of feeling old and we can have a mentality of gracefully aging. What real longevity looks like and how the real framework can bring it all together and does bring it all together. So I want you to paint a picture of what real longevity looks like for you. Not the airbrush version, not the unrealistic version, not the one that you see on Instagram, the real human achievable version. What does that look like for you? Now, in my opinion, real longevity looks like wake up in the morning without that deep pain that you have in your back that so many people in their 40s, 50s and overs accept as normal. It also looks like, in my opinion, having lots of energy all the way from the morning time through to the evening, even though you've been working hard. You're present, you can love people the way you want to, you can engage in people the way you want to, and you're not just surviving through till bedtime, you're actually thriving. It's, for me, looks like moving your body freely, going out doing the things that you enjoy, whether that's playing with the kids, swimming, dancing, going out for long walks with the dog, whatever it is. That's what, for me, real longevity looks like. It looks like having mental clarity, having purpose, being creative, doing something that you care about, engaging with people that you love and you enjoy being around. Regardless of whether in your late 40s, 50s, 60s or 70, that's for me what real longevity looks like. It's not the one of declining and slowing down and doing less. That's for me what real longevity looks like. And I want you to have a vision for you what longevity looks like. That's the one that we've built here on the Real Longevity podcast, and it's the principles that surround the Real Rejuvenation programs. We spoke about R is for realizing and taking responsibility. That's where it begins. The moment you Truly understand that it's down to you, without judgment, without condemnation, but with clarity. Asking yourself those questions about where you are right now, how you can make better decisions moving forward, how you can have real agency in shaping what comes next. Not being passive about it, that's when you start to make and can make those changes moving forward. Then you move on to the next steps. It's talking about eating right for our energy. So giving your body the right nutritional foundation it needs to function on a daily basis with vitality, it can repair itself, it can thrive. It's not about eating perfectly all the time, don't do this and don't do that. Yes, there's always something that we can improve. It's not about deprivation or saying you can't do this and can't do this. Yes, there are certain foods that we know are bad for us, but it's about intelligent eating, eating right for you, enjoying food, personal nourishment. We're all individual. Yes, there are some generalizations when it comes to nutrition, but it's understanding what works right for yourself, where you are on your journey at this moment, whether that's late 40s, 50s, 60s, or older. Next, it's about active mind and daily bodily movements, building movements and mental engagement into the fabric of your daily life. So, what have you done today to exercise your mind and exercise up your body? What have you done to keep it active, supple, fresh? Not in a punishment way or a robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of way. It's all about what you're doing to keep your body active, keep it supple, keep it fresh, keep it energized, and also mentally as well. It's about moving because movement is medicine. It's because finding something that you love to do, not because you're afraid of what happens consequentially if you don't do it. And finally, we talk about love for longevity. So we're talking about today, longevity. It's the deepest principle, one that we very rarely see discussed in the fitness and well-being space. It's all about no pain, no gain, but we're talking about something deeper here. It's a deep principle. It's why beneath it all, it's going to drive you and keep you moving forward in the directions of your ideal desires. The love for your life. Do you love your life? Do you love who you're becoming on a daily basis? Are you the person or trying to be the person that you ideally like to be? Or is it a toil? Is it something tiresome? Is it something like running on a treadmill that you don't really want to do? Find that deepest love. It's that emotional fuel that's going to sustain everything. Now, when you align those four principles, and that's what we talk to our clients about on the Real Rejuvenation program, it's working well together, eating well, we're moving well, we're thinking well, we're having a genuine and a compelling reason for doing the things that we do. We have purpose. The results that you see are not just incremental or slight, they're really, truly life transforming, transformational. So, what can you do right now to bring it all together, bring it all home now, and start to implement those four principles? I want to give you 5, one for each of the principle, and then bonus one, an additional one for your long-term vision. We spoke about this in a previous episode, writing about and jotting down, making a note of your long-term vision. What does your future self look like in the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years' time? Write it down in a vivid and detailed picture. How do you want to be living? What are the things that you want to be doing? Where do you want to be going? Who do you want to be engaging with? Who do you want relationships with? What do you want to experience in your life? Be explicit as you can. Look at writing down the ideal you. Be bold. Don't be bashful. Say how it is. Say the things that you want to do. Be honest with yourself of what you really want to experience in your life. Don't think, oh, I need to be reasonable here. Truly be honest with yourself. I said that I did that last year when I said what I want to do moving forward, and that's to reach more people, have more quality time, creating content that's going to impact people in a deeper, meaningful way. It meant making some tough decisions about the way I was working, but as a result, I'm in a much better place now. Read it regularly. Once you've written it down, update it as it grows and it changes and you adapt to it, and let your decisions guide you. This is going to be your North Star once you write this vision down of your future ideal self. That's step number 1. Step number 2, choose your non-negotiable daily practice. So across the last few episodes, we spoke about a lot of things that you could do. I don't want you to try to do them all at once. I always share with you each episode, each show, a lot of information. I often say if it's just one thing to take away, because I know it's very difficult. Once the podcast show stops, likelihood is that you're going to forget 75%, if not more, of what I've been sharing with you. What is the one thing that you can do? Just one. Write it down and apply it. It could be drinking more water. It could be implementing some meditation practices, going for a 10-minute walk if you're not doing any sort of physical activity. at the moment. Just one thing that you're going to do and take away. And if you're consistent with that, watch what happens over the next 28, 30 days. See what happens as long as you're consistent with it. Number 3, address your single biggest longevity saboteur. We all have one, but this is where you need to be honest with yourself. What's the one thing, if you address it, you have the biggest positive impact on your health moving forward? So, you know your life much better than I do at the moment. What is that one biggest thing that's saboteuring or creating sabotage? Is it the way you think about yourself? Is it the level of stress and anxiety currently in your life? Is it that you've been sedentary for too long, you're not been moving your body? Is it because you've got wrong food or you're making wrong choices when it comes to the food? What is it for you? You know that one thing that's creating that disconnect. Is it that you don't have a big circle or a tight circle or a supportive circle? You don't have to have a big circle, but you have a supportive circle. What's that one thing that's pulling you back or always holding you from making those long positive strides forward? Identify what that biggest longevity saboteur is, address it, and take a concrete step forward to making it better. Could be, as I said, if it's food in the house that you're always eating that you know you shouldn't be, take that food out. If it's reconnecting with people, finding a community, why not join us on the Real Longevity Community Facebook group? You know what it is, identify what that biggest saboteur is, address it, and start moving forward. And step number 4 ties into one of the aspects that I mentioned just now. It's in connection. One of the biggest and most robust findings in longevity research done by many different bodies is the extraordinary importance of social connection for long-term health. So I'll say that again. One of the biggest and most impactful strategies when it comes to improving longevity is the importance of social connection for long-term health. Loneliness, isolation has been shown to be a big significant risk factor when it comes to early mortality. It ties very similar with smoking. So if you're alone, you don't have good connection, or a sense of community, you live in isolation for most of your life, and you're putting yourself at risk. So finding yourself good connections, warm relationships, people that reciprocate where you are and understand and empathize and sympathize with what you're doing, it has the opposite effects. It increases the likelihood of longevity. It increases vitality. It increases your purpose, your sense of connection. It creates a sense of community. It reduces stress. It reduces inflammation, and it gives your life meaning. So this is why connection and being a part of community is extremely, extremely important. Again, we don't talk about it in the health and wellness space. We're always talking about doing things and getting exercise done and modifying our diet. But the research is out there now talking about the importance of being part of a group, being part of a community, being connected. So this week, what I want you to do is invest in one meaningful connection. Have a real conversation with someone you love. Reach out to a friend that you maybe have lost touch with. Join a community. Touch base with people. Reach out to family and friends. Share with them what your goals are, what your visions are, what it is that you'd like to do. I've obviously spoke about joining us on the Real Longevity Community. You can join us in our Facebook group where we're growing and having a number of people. I told you recently about my father passing, which was obviously a very sad and is a sad time when I think about it. But despite that, in his absence, in his passing, it brought a lot of people together, a lot of members of the family that we hadn't seen for a long period of time. We reconnected, and we are reconnected now because of that. And it makes me feel good, despite of Dad not being here with us. That does make me feel very good that we're back together with certain aspects and members of the family. So connection is very important, and I want you to do that as step number 4 this week. Step number 5, celebrate is what is already working. Celebrate what is already working. This is a step that a lot of people skip when it comes to practices that's going to help them maintain or attain a healthy, enjoyable, long life. So we're always good, myself included. I'm not going to exclude myself in this one, focusing on what is not working, what we haven't achieved, what we haven't done so far. We are so bad and poor at acknowledging what we've done and what is going well. This week, I want you to make a point and sit with what's already working in your life when it comes to your health and fitness. So many of us, and I often fall into this category as well, as coaches telling you what not to do. Stop doing this, stop doing that, stop doing this, stop doing that. But if we can just take a step back and flip it and say, well, this is really working well for me. Let me continue with that. Maybe you've noticed that you're sleeping better. You're taking more water on board, and that's helping you in terms of your digestive health. Maybe you found a form of exercise or movement that's working well for you that you weren't doing 4 to 6 months ago. Maybe your relationship with food has improved, or your relationship with your partner or friends or work colleagues has improved for whatever reason through a conversation. Celebrate those things, acknowledge it, celebrate it, build on that confidence and build on that momentum. Because when you focus on things that's working, it gives you that confidence and it gives you that understanding that, well, I made that change and it's proving that it's doing me well. And it builds on that confidence as well. And it's helping you to sustain that long-term change, not only the ones that are hardest themselves, but also small changes that you can do on a daily basis. When we appreciate it, and it's genuinely, when we appreciate these things and we genuinely appreciate these things, we help to build steps on our progress. And that's what we want to do on a daily and weekly basis, build steps on our progress, create those wins. So here we are, end of those recent episodes where we've been talking about the Real Rejuvenation program and those principles that I often talk about. So let me just take the opportunity just to summarize and to finish off with. The way you've been told to exercise before in the past, probably making you more tired. I see this all the time. People are working really, really hard, doing all the cardio, doing all the fitness events, but they don't see any sort of change. As I mentioned before, you remember this acronym, if there's one thing you take away from this CIA, consistent, intelligent application. There was consistent, intelligent activity, mentally and physically. If you be consistent, if you move with intention and you're intelligent and you're applying it in a way that's adequate, your body is going to thank you. You're going to see a thriving you. You're going to see a new, vital you. Eating healthy. We've talked about that before. You don't have to be eating healthy. We talked about eating right. Eating right specifically for your body and where you are on your personal journey right now. So don't focus on how can I eat healthy. Focus on how can I eat right for myself. We spoke about pain and how many of us in the age of late 40s, 50s, 60s and all that, we've come to accept it. But you don't have to accept it as inevitable. See it as a signal. Remember that with the right approach, doing the right kind of movement, the right nutrition, the right kind of management of our stress and anxiety, and the right level of curiosity, we can see our pain reduced, if not eliminated completely. Real change is possible. And we spoke about willpower. I was in the last episode. Willpower is not the solution. If you're trying and relying on willpower alone, you're not going to get very far. Think about how you can change your environment, understanding what your deep why is, what your compassion is for yourself that you can change. These are tools that's going to create lasting change, not just relying on willpower. And as we're talking about today, getting older is inevitable, but feeling old is a choice. It's a choice that we make, so we either do it consciously or unconsciously. What do you want to do as a choice? Are you making a choice for feeling younger, more vital and energized? Or are you making a choice just feeling old, thinking that's just the way it is? You deserve to be your best regardless of your age. You deserve freedom from pain. You deserve a body that serves you, a body that feels genuinely good most of the time. And it is available to you, despite what you may be thinking. It is available to you, regardless of whatever age you are. Even if you've not started your fitness and well-being journey now, you can start now. Taking that consistent, intelligent approach, that CIA approach, being compassionate on yourself, and applying those real rejuvenation principles that we've been speaking about. Okay, that is it for today. I trust you found today's episode insightful and uplifting and inspirational. Remember, you can connect with me and the Real Longevity community on Facebook. I'll leave the links in the show notes. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can connect me on Facebook on Mike Bobby Hendricks. Also on Instagram, The Real Holistic Coach Mike. And you can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel where we have exclusive content. I'll leave all those details in the show notes. So I want you to remember about joining us on the Real Longevity Podcast community on Facebook. And remember, regardless of where you are on your fitness and well-being journey, even if you've not started yet, it's never too late to start investing in feeling vital, energized, and free. We do things a little bit differently, as you probably tell by now. We're not just about beasting you into the ground and no pain, no gain. We do things in a way that works well for you. If these 5 episodes or these recent episodes that we've been speaking about resonated with you, let me know. Connect with me. Send me an email. Send me a message on Instagram. Let me know what's really working for you. Or if you'd like to talk about where you are right now on your fitness and well-being journey, again, reach out. I'll leave a link where you can apply to work with me on the Real Rejuvenation program, and we can arrange a time that's convenient to yourself. We'll sit down, go through your appraisal, and talk about where you are and what's the best next steps for you to achieve full vitality, live a life that's energized, and help you find freedom through your own fitness. Okay, that's it. Until next time, remember, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm, and keep it real. Blessings and chi. Thank you for joining me. Peace out. See you next time.